leftovers, or the DMV,
Number 97,
or house cleaning, or
Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, Westfield, and welcome back to the Shamrocks Sportscast. I am Sam Efford.
I'm Evan Cummings.
And I'm Aiden McNally.
And today we are excited for a new episode. Unfortunately, we could not secure an interview with one of the tennis players, which is totally okay. But we have some backup plans. But first, before we get into that, Evan, why don't you run down this week in Westfield sports?
All right, so starting off, since it was Labor Day, we didn't have any athletics going on last Monday, but Tuesday started off with some clutch wins by the boys soccer and boys tennis teams, both beating the Noblesville Millers. Girls soccer faltered to Bishop Chatard 2-1, with the singular goal coming from Ari Williams. Girls golf finished second at HSE, and Samantha Brown co-medaled with a score of 37. Very impressive. Wednesday, girls soccer lost to Noblesville 2-0. The girls golf team finished third at Fishers, and girls volleyball was victorious in Newcastle 3-0. In said game, Chloe Sutek topped the Rocks, kill count with 13. Thursday was not a good day to be a Rock, though, as the boys tennis team lost 4-1 and girls volleyball lost 3-1. Friday, however, was a great day to be a Shamrock, as the football team bested Noblesville 34-33, giving them their fifth win in 5 years. Highlighted by a rowdy student section and a late stop to win the game, the football team got their second win in a row versus an HCC opponent. Cole Ballard proved himself as a true leader, finishing the night going 14 for 17, 188 yards passing, 100 yards of rushing, and 3 touchdowns total. Gabe Arambolas made a crazy play, and the power back duo of Ryan Krieger and Kendall Garnett combined for 124 yards on 20 carries and 2 trips to the end zone. There was also some stuff that happened with the bleachers that we're not going to get into, but I have heard from the Rocks boys that they are very sorry about that, and they regret everything. Saturday, the boys tennis team was victorious at the Shelbyville Invite. Girls volleyball went 0-2 on the day in their invite. Boys soccer won the Westfield Invitational. Boys cross country finished 9th in the Brown County Invite, while the girls finished 11th. And girls golf placed 3rd at the Courtney Cox Cole Invite. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. The highlight was yet again Samantha Brown finishing first overall with a score of 69. And then Monday, girls volleyball lost to Carmel 3-1. And then Tuesday, Aiden, you want to talk about last night's game against HSE?
Yeah, so last night the boys soccer team traveled to HSE. This is a good HSE soccer team, first in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference with a record of 3-1-1. Westfield lost that game 2-1. The goal coming from the transfer student, I can't remember where he transferred from, Tyler Dewart. Never really found out how to pronounce his name, but he's actually a junior. He was actually rostered on JV after tryouts. He made the JV team at tryouts, and he got brought up to varsity and is actually seeing some good minutes, and was brought up about a week and a half ago to dress for varsity, and he scored a good goal against a very good HSC soccer team. So big ups to Tyler, and that was a tough loss, but this is also HSC. I mean, they're the first in the HCC. They have an 8-1-3 record overall. So this is a good soccer team. I wouldn't beat yourself up too much if you're Westfield, and a great performance from the Rocks overall.
All right, Sam, do you want to talk about the Westfield Noblesville game last Friday?
Yeah, wow. That was quite the barn burner. It felt like, it was one of those games where every single time one of the teams had the ball, they were marching down the field and scoring. There were a ton of big plays in this game, which made it so fun to watch in the student section, regardless of, even if Noblesville was scoring. It was a great game to watch. We can all agree this is something we talked about last episode, is that Noblesville has improved a lot this year. Their running back was excellent, and they did a really good job of fooling what we were trying to do on defense with some pass plays that were not necessarily expected. Other than that, Westfield played great. Ryan Krieger had a phenomenal game, like you said. Cole Ballard as well. And this, I think this is a momentum-gaining win just to sort of show that we can still contend and beat all these teams that we play in our conference. So obviously that's going to carry some momentum into this week. It's going to be a huge week for the Rocks. Homecoming this Friday at home against HSE.
Yeah. So obviously our score predictions were wrong, especially Evans with his
56-7. Yeah.
So, I mean, but I will say this: the Noblesville team has improved a lot. I mean, last year they weren't the best, but then you have Logan Schaffner coming in again, Blake Widget, who had the I think 60 or 70-yard rushing touchdown, and last year, like you could tell Westfield had every call. They just had every number that Noblesville had, and then this year, Noblesville kind of watched back of what Westfield did last year, and they just hit on all their weaknesses, and it worked. I mean, Westfield only won this game by a yard. Last year, they won this game by like 39 points. So big ups to Noblesville for improving so much over the offseason, and they actually did a really good job keeping this game close because I was not expecting it. I was not expecting it to be this close.
I don't think anyone did, honestly. Noblesville is usually a team that guys roll over, and it's kind of expected to be a win, but it's certainly not been that for a couple teams. They started off the season 2-0, and then I can't remember who they lost to. It might have been Avon. But they came into the game, same record as us, 2-1, and we just came out on top. We had a very good offensive performance. Defense kind of struggled because you almost know what they're running every time. You know what they're running 80 or 90% of the time. And still, it's hard to stop. It's hard to stop the clock, so it made it for a very fast game. I believe I was out of there by like 9:20 when it's usually like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Such a contrast from week 2
Oh
at
my
home against
goodness!
LC.
We got out of there at like 10:30. It was
brutal.
It was, but great game overall. Good performances on both sides. Something to be happy about if you're both teams. And this week is going to be much, much better in terms of scoring and defense for Westfield because defense is really going to come into play here. You're actually going to have to stop the run and stop the pass, and these Westfield D-backs are hungry. Like, they want to stop as many passes as they can. Their strength is intercepting the ball and getting takeaways. So this week against HSE is going to be a very entertaining game.
And the thing is about the Westfield Noblesville game last week is Westfield didn't play bad at all. Cole Ballard, 14 for 17, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, perfect QBR rating. He also had 100 rushing yards and a touchdown. And then you have Kendall Garnett, who had 47 rushing yards and a touchdown. Ryan Krieger, who had 77 yards and a touchdown. And then Westfield also had 2 receivers over 50 receiving yards, Gabe Arambolas and Micah Webster. So Westfield didn't play bad at all. They had almost a near perfect game offensively, and that really shows how much Noblesville has improved.
I'm loving the getting Ryan Krieger in. I'm loving that because
great performance from him.
Oh yeah, like just outstanding. Well done, Ryan Krieger. I love the fact that he's getting in more actual running back reps instead of end around reps because that's all we saw against Lawrence Central and Zionsville.
Yes.
But against Noblesville, he just did an outside run that he cut inside and he scored, and you could tell that he was fired up about it. You could tell that he's really reaching his full potential.
He this is a kid who is a tough downhill runner, one that defensive backs and especially linebackers, once he gets to that second level, do not want to tackle. And like you said, he's sort of embracing that role, and I think the coaching staff is doing a phenomenal job of sort of changing the game plan week to week in regards to who's going to be the feature guy. That way, the other teams really don't know what's coming. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do this week against HSC. So we're going to have to see, but it's certainly a fun little dynamic.
Yeah, so this Friday, HSC game, HSC just came off of a 28-27 victory over Fishers.
In overtime. The Mudsock rivalry.
The Mid-Sock rivalry. Their QB, Ty Bradle, did not have the best game last week. 10 for 25 on 40% completion, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. But he also didn't have an interception, but he did have a fumble, so he had a turnover in there. But the main guy that Westfield really has to focus on in this HSC offense is Eli Brantman. 9 rushes, 132 yards, a 14.7 yards per carry, 47-yard long run, and a touchdown to go along with those stats. So, I mean, the receiving game isn't as good as the rushing game. I mean, if you have a back averaging 14.7 yards per carry,
that's uncanny.
Yeah, I know. And so the Westfield's definitely they're gonna have another week of focusing on the run game this week. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Gilbert comes out and how he handles both the rush and the pass attack from HSE.
What are your score predictions for this game?
Okay, so believe it or not, Max Preps actually has HSC winning this game. Which is understandable. They're 4-0. They've been outstanding.
Second best team in the state.
Yeah, they've been outstanding. I don't know.
You want me to go first, or do you want Sam to go first?
I can go first.
All right.
I think the Rocks squeak by with an upset win to satisfy the homecoming fans. 23-21.
Very reminiscent of our score against them in sectionals. 24-22.
Incredibly similar. And I think it's going to be a similar type game.
Yeah, so I'm much more confident in my picks. As we saw last week, I was very confident that we would demolish Noblesville, for lack of a better term.
It was quite frankly the opposite.
Yeah. So I figured, if I go with a pretty close score, then it'll turn out the opposite way. I'm going to go with 45-42. It's going to be an offensive slugfest and maybe a little bit of a defensive slugfest. Ballard might throw a pick. Bradle might throw a pick, but ultimately, it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be a fun game to watch for sure. Two offenses that are very similar. And I think it'll be 45-42 in favor of the Shamrocks.
Aiden?
Okay. I think I'm going to have HSE in this one, 31-21.
Okay.
First person to pick an outside school.
Hey.
Yeah.
Someone had to do it.
Well, last year we only beat them by 1 in sectionals, and that was with a state runner-up team that only lost by 6 in the state to a top 10 nationally ranked team. So it's not going to be easy. No. This is definitely the hardest game we're going to have all year.
That's going to make next week's picks interesting against Brownsburg too.
Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah, I'm going to say 31-21 HSE, although obviously I want the Rocks to win, but I just feel like they won't get it done. But I'm hoping. Please prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong, because I want to win this game.
Way to be objective there with that pick.
Yeah.
It's tough to do.
Yeah.
When you go to a school. But
And now I might get dirty looks in the hallway from all the football guys.
You might not be allowed on the field.
Or
yeah,
they're gonna try as hard as they can to prove you wrong.
yeah, maybe I'm the reason we win
We feel
on
the
Friday.
See?
All right, now that we don't have the certain tennis players interview with us, we're going to preview some boys soccer. So, Aiden, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so tomorrow night, or actually by the time you're listening to this on Thursday, it'll be tonight. Holy crap. Okay, hold on. I'm having
All right,
issues.
let's just...
No. Just don't even mention the interview.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we're going to preview some Westfield soccer. Westfield plays at home against Carmel, the homecoming game at 7 p.m. tonight. Aiden, let's start with you.
Yeah, so huge game, homecoming game at home. Well, I guess that makes sense because it's a homecoming game.
Yeah.
But yeah, big game. Carmel soccer travels here. Carmel is an outstanding soccer team. They have so many great players. It's going to really be hard to top them. As I said earlier, we took that loss to HSC Tuesday night, and it'll be interesting to see how the soccer team kind of
Collects themselves?
recollects themselves, because that HSC is a tough team. So I don't know if they're going to beat themselves up as much as they really should. But Carmel's also a good team. Like, they have to stay on their toes because Carmel's coming for them. This is a really good team. They're 6-2-3 overall. They're an independent, so they don't have a conference record. But they've tied Zionsville, tied Pike. But they've also lost to Noblesville. They lost to HSC as well, 2-1. They beat Greenfield Central, with which we lost to 1-0. They beat Center Grove. They beat Brebeuf. Tongue twister. That we lost 1-0 to Brebeuf. They beat Fishers, which we tied. They beat Lawrence North 8-0. And then they beat Columbus North, who's a really good soccer team, 1-0. They played North Central last night 2-2. They tied 2-2. And then they come into Westfield and face the Rocks at Westfield on Thursday by the time you're watching this. And so or by the time that you're listening to this, I guess. So it's going to be a really good game. I mean, two really good teams going head to head. Carmel this is their first year being an independent, so haven't really gotten to see how they stack up against other HCC teams. I guess the only two or three teams they've played in the HCC so far is Zionsville and Fishers and Noblesville. So I'm really excited. I really have no clue what's going to go on. I don't know who will win at all, because there's really no telling who's going to win this game.
Yeah, and this Carmel team is pretty similar to what we see with Westfield in that they don't have one guy who is their dominant goal scorer, and it's pretty evenly distributed throughout the roster.
Yeah.
Josiah Shepson, he has 5 goals on the season, as well as Colin Fettig and Will Latham each have 3. These are, their top goal scorers, but like I said, there's at least 10 to 12 guys who have scored a goal this season. So, it's hard to game plan for that and to forecast which guys are going to get hot at the right time. But I think Westfield's in a great position here. Although this Carmel team has won 6 games in a row before their tie last week. So they are playing really well.
Yeah.
But I mean, who's to say we are playing really well as well. So
I feel like it is a very much David and Goliath story. Westfield being the David and Carmel being the Goliath. The stats say it themselves. Carmel has 20 goals on the season and Westfield has 8. Carmel has 17 assists. Westfield has 5. Carmel has 76 shots. Westfield has 40. So it is really just a David and Goliath situation. Westfield could come out with a win. Is that very likely? I do not think so, but it's Westfield soccer. We've seen them make crazy plays, win some crazy games, and I feel like it's going to be a really fun game to watch.
And they're going to be playing with a little bit more swag since there's going to be a bigger audience, and it's homecoming night, so they know they're going to have to come out with a win for their school on homecoming.
We talk about Liam Lloyd being this dominant goalie in the state of Indiana, but Carmel's goalie as well, Adam Kelleher, is also incredible. He's only given up 6 goals so far this season through 11 games, which is pretty phenomenal numbers. Like you said, this game is going to be totally packed. It's directly after the homecoming parade, so there should be a lot of students, a lot of parents, a lot of community members here to watch the Rocks play. And I think that from what we've seen from them this season in the Noblesville game, in the Fishers game, when the moment's biggest, this team comes to play.
Yeah, and I'm going to touch on another thing you mentioned, Will Latham and Adam Kelleher. Will Latham, the striker, who has 3 goals. I played club soccer with him, and he just has the whole thing. He has probably the biggest bag I've ever seen. I mean, his ceiling is the sky. I mean, there's really no stopping him. He's so fast. If you're Westfield, you have to keep tabs on Will, or else he's going to make you pay and notch out a goal against you. And then Adam Kelleher, he hasn't played a single season for Carmel, I believe. He's gone to Carmel, but he's played academy soccer, which is nuts.
Absolutely insane.
And so basically there's this rule: if you play academy, then you can't play school. So he dropped out of academy to play his senior season at Carmel to start and try to win a state title for his school.
Alan, you're looking at me like you have to ask me a question. Why are you looking at me like that?
Mailbag question. All right. Which Westfield team has the best jersey?
Which Westfield team has the best jerseys?
Are we doing this out of?
That's our mailbag question.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
What? Are we just doing fall sports or?
Are we doing? Does it say, Alan? Does it say fall sports or all sports or?
If it doesn't indicate, I say we open it up to everything.
To all sports.
It doesn't specify. So
let's do all sports.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah,
sure.
All right, Matt, do you want to start off?
Man, that's really one that requires some more thought than some just
throw it in there and go.
Yeah. Kind of the football team is one that we're always going to think about
Of course.
when we have a question like this. But I would argue basketball has had some great jerseys. in the past.
That's
Yes.
a top one for
They
sure.
they seem to go all out. And what's nice about having more games on your schedule in a basketball season, obviously because you can play more and don't need more rest time, is that there's more opportunities to bring out new uniforms. And in the past, we've seen pink jerseys, we've seen camo jerseys, all this interesting stuff that Westfield's brought out. So I would say, like, team-wise, Westfield. Westfield
Nice.
basketball. Team-wise, Westfield basketball. But one individual jersey, I think those road black uniforms for the basketball team
Yes.
are
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Those are
They're
classics.
green. They're a green one. They're all green out.
Those were
Uniforms
tough.
are
They wore those
pretty
in Newcastle last year. They
Yeah,
were
those were
very
nice.
tough. I'm gonna go with the baseball team. I've been around both programs, the basketball, football, and baseball for a very long time. But the baseball jerseys are just the cleanest that I've ever seen. I mean, you get, I'd say, like 21, 22 guys all in a dugout wearing those. I mean, they're just so clean. All blacks, they unlock after winning a series. Or after sweeping a series, I should say, not winning, sweeping. And they're just so clean. They have other alternate jerseys that have like camo. They have the Rock City jerseys.
Their Rock City jerseys
They're
might
so
be the
clean.
cleanest thing yet. Like the cursive across the chest.
Oh my
One of the
goodness.
best. One of the best.
Also, we wore those whenever we beat Carmel 19-1. I'm just going to point that out. So, I mean, they're our most successful jersey. But yeah, I mean, Rock City and all greens, all blacks, all whites, just perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it simple here. Go with a fall sport, girls soccer. Their uniforms are pretty nice.
Underrated.
Underrated for sure. The green, kind of like the green accent stripes going across the chest.
Yeah.
Slick.
The Westfield outlined in gold, and then the number outlined in gold. It's definitely one of the cleanest here at the school, for sure. I was actually gonna pick the baseball team before you snagged it. So baseball seems to be a
Shout out
Yeah.
Nike for some great gear.
Yes,
Yeah.
shout out Nike.
Nike delivers for
oh
sure.
my goodness.
And shout out Alan for bringing that
Producer
question,
Alan, yes, sir.
bringing that question to our attention. That's a phenomenal question.
That's a
And
great question.
we would like to continue this segment going forward. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment, send us a DM on either Instagram or Twitter, whatever best suits your interest.
I believe that is it for this episode of the Shamrocks Sportscast. Any last going messages?
No, just have a great rest of the week. I know I will because I know my NFL team found their franchise QB,
Yes, the Bears.
and Justin Fields.
Yeah, Mefford's team isn't doing so hot.
No, Titans had a tough loss.
Tough outing.
Derrick Henry
425 against the Giants.
Derrick Henry got blown up by a no-name linebacker.
Yeah, it was
That was tough.
not ideal start to the season.
Yeah.
Just one last plug. You guys need to be at both the soccer game tonight as well as the football game tomorrow. Two big things, and that is it for us.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Thank you guys for listening. Peace.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.